Next up here, Honest, Elf, Adobe. What's going on with these stocks? Okay. So here's the deal. Okay. Honest, stock hasn't gone anywhere in 3 months. Well, since earnings came out, have we heard anything? No, there's nothing. Like the earnings, the last time they had earnings in a conference call was good, but there's no news. There's nothing for people to get excited about. And remember, this is a company that's very heavily, I would say, handled by smaller funds and smaller investors in general, retail investors, right? It's not like this is some, $50 billion market cap or something like that just gets inflows from being in S&P 500. So for Honest, there's no news about the stock. There's nothing coming out. So people are just kind of get bored of it and they start to slowly sell out of the stock, right? Even though there's nothing wrong with the business, there's anything. It's just people start to sell because there's no news, there's nothing. So for Honest right now, we're just waiting on earnings, right? And listen, if you guys want, if you're an Honest shareholder and you want more news, reach out to the investor relations page. Reach out to the investor relations of Honest. You can literally go right to their investor relations page, type in Honest investor relations, and let them know. Send them a message. Say, hey man, you guys never post any news. It's not good enough just to post earnings every 3 months and then say peace out. Hear from us again in 3 months. You look at all these other companies that are great stocks in good companies on top of that, right? They got news cycle all the time. Dude, Palantir, the king stock, over the past few years, Palantir seems like it's in the news every freaking day. Palantir got a contract over here. Palantir did something with the White House. Palantir, blah, blah, blah. There's always news coming out with Palantir. NVIDIA, one of the best stocks to be in the past few years. It seems like you can't go a week without NVIDIA launching some new product, some new service, or hearing about something, or some expansion, or, Jensen's doing an interview talking about blah, blah, blah. Honest, it's 3 months go by, you don't hear anything. And so you can reach out to the investor relations, tell them, hey, man, we want to hear more stuff. I don't care if you guys freaking launch 2 new products in a Walmart. Let us know. Just keep us in the loop so people don't get bored and say, you know what, I don't want to hold the stock anymore, right? Additionally, their email address is right on the investor relations page. So you can send it through the form, you can send it through there, right? Come on. We gotta get this done. If worse comes to worse, I think Jessica Alba's still on the board of directors at Honest. She's not in management anymore, but I think she's on the board of directors. Send her a DM. I'm sure she'll get back to you. Okay? That's Honest. People are just bored. They're just waiting for the next earnings, right? Elf on a shelf. So, Elf on a shelf. What's going on here? Stock's done tremendous past 3 months, up 90+%, but recently it's been weaker, right? Well, this is why you got to watch the reaction channel. 3 days ago, I did a video on the reaction channel called "One of My Stocks Just Crashed," right? Because people were talking about Elf, hey, what's going on with Elf? I'd love to hear about this one, right? And I explained it all in that Elf video there, right? I explained it to folks. Profit taken. Listen. Elf went up 100+% in a 3-month span, right? At some point, it was up 140% from the bottom. People are going to take some profits on a stock that goes up 140% in 3 months. I've never seen it where it hasn't happened. NVIDIA. Throughout NVIDIA's runs, guess what's happened? There's been phases in this run that people have taken profits, where all of a sudden NVIDIA will go down 20, 30, 40, 50% in a pretty quick amount of time. Because people say, you know what, I'm taking profits. Palantir. Has Palantir just gone up straight line the past 3 years? Nope. There's been plenty of pauses with Palantir stock, and plenty of times people took profits, and all of a sudden the stock would go down 10, 20, 30%. Like that. So no stock just goes up straight to the moon and never goes down. That's not the way this happens. And the more dramatic the move is, especially if you're talking about over a 3 or 6 month span, the more dramatic usually the downward move is when the momentum cycle chills for a bit. Then all of a sudden you get a 10, 20, 30, 40% drop in a stock quick, okay? And it happens to all of them. And so that's what happened. And by the way, if you don't follow me on the reaction channel, it's called Jeremy Lefebvre Makes Money. You should follow me on there because I cover subjects like this, right? And explain them. Plus I react to, Wall Streeters and all that sort of stuff and their opinions. So anyways, that's what's going on there, man. People are going to take profits, especially, remember, not everybody in the stock market are a bunch of people like you and me that are long-term investors that are thinking about where a company's headed over the next 3, 5, 7 years, right? When I was running those Palantir projections earlier in this video, what are we talking about? We're talking about Palantir over the next 5 years. You think that's the way everybody invests in the market or trades in the market? Of course not. A lot of the market trading is done in milliseconds, in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out, right? You got the swing traders out there that are swinging in and out of these stocks, right? Playing their games. You got, medium-term investors that are maybe investing for the next few quarters. I call a lot of those people like momentum investors, because they'll be in a stock for a little bit of a longer time, maybe even like a year or two, but they're just trying to play like a quick upcycle in regards to a company. Like maybe they think the earnings are going to be a banger for the next year, so they're just trying to be like a momentum investor. And just not everybody's thinking about stocks the next 3, 5, 7 years like you and I are, okay? So if people get to make 140% on ELF stock in a matter of a few months, some people are going to say, I'm good with that. Peace. I'm in ELF because I think ELF's going back to the 200s. And maybe even a lot higher. And maybe they have a great chance to become a cosmetics giant over this next 10 years and get a market capitalization of tens and billions of dollars. Other people are like, I don't know, I don't want to take that risk. I'm good with selling out here. Respect. But you got to understand that is part of the game. That is part of the game. And when you're a stock like ELF that gets some momentum like that, like some people are just going to leave it. And you got to understand that. Okay, not everybody's playing the same game that you're playing. Adobe stock's asleep, up to a whole whopping 2% the past 3 months. 2%? Listen, man, this stock's a gift. It reminds me it's very similar to Google here recently, where stocks that are caught up in this like cycle about people are like, I don't know if they're going to make it with the whole AI, blah, blah, blah. This happens every cycle with these companies, okay? I watched the same exact thing play out with the app revolution. When the app revolution happened, people had a lot of questions about websites. Facebook was a great example. And Meta, people are like, I don't think they're going to be able to make it. They're a website. How are they going to be successful in regards to apps, right? Guess what? I think they did just fine. They did just fine. People way overblow these things, right? They freak out. They panic. Oh my gosh, I don't know. Great companies. They stay innovative. They change their business models. Adobe's already been through a cycle like this. Their CEO's already taken them through a cycle. Adobe's and a lot of their products used to be like one-off buys. They switched their business model to subscription business model. That was a whole like dramatic situation for their business model in the short term and stock price, and they made it through just fine. Like at the end of the day, I look at Adobe and I'm like, they'll be just fine. They're going to be even more relevant with their products and services 5 years from now than they are today, at least in my opinion. We'll see what happens. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I think I'll be right in the end, right? Now, additionally, Adobe, I spoke about that on this video here. Not sure if you guys got to see this one from 10 or 11 days ago on the channel. 5 stocks I'm buying now, July 2025 edition. If I recall, Adobe was a very first stock I spoke about in that video of those 5 stocks. So you can check out that one, okay? No, I can smell it. I can smell it, baby. Earnings season, it's here. It's here, folks. We're going to start getting bank earnings this earnings season. Now, listen, okay? I'm excited about this earnings season. I think it's going to be a lot of good numbers. I think it's going to be a lot of good guidances. I think CEOs are going to sound more confident than they did the last quarter. I'm looking very forward to this earnings season. But listen, there's going to be some companies that are going to report this earnings season. They're going to have very good numbers, and the stock prices are going to go down. Don't get frustrated. If the company reports great numbers and everything's going exactly the way you expect them to go, and you think it's a fair valuation because you've run your projection models, step in and buy those stocks. There's going to be other stocks that report this earnings season that are going to have bad numbers, and their stock price is going to go up. For whatever reason. Don't get frustrated. That's not your game to play. Whatever happens with other people's stocks is whatever happens. Like, somebody owns some other stock over here and, they report crap numbers and their stock goes up 20%. Cool. Whatever. It doesn't affect you. Hey, that's more money for people to have than they can come buy, your stocks in the future, right? There's more money they can come buy your company's products and services in the future. Good for them. Be happy. Don't get depressed. Like if somebody else makes a bunch of money, it's not coming out of your pocket. It's not coming out of your pocket, baby. Okay?
How would you like access to all my best course curriculums? My Becoming Master of the Stock Market course, my Stock Market Investing Mastery course, my Stock Options Mastery course, my Millionaire Playbook. How would you like access to all my best courses, as well as the ability to have access to my 6 and 7 figure plus Discord community, where we're constantly keeping in touch with each other, talking about what's going on in the market? How would you like exclusive weekly videos from me? How would you like the ability to see what stocks I'm buying and selling in my $2 million plus Fidelity account? If that all sounds pretty interesting to you, apply to join my private group. That is going to be linked in the description area down there. You can click on that, fill out an application, and go ahead, hop on a call with Andre. Andre will walk you through the whole process. He'll walk you through the whole group, and you can go ahead and join us in there. Once again, the link for that is in the description area.
Okay, guys, so what's going on here with ELF, right? Well, let me explain what's going on here and what this also means for other stocks in the future so you guys can understand when a stock makes a downward move like this, okay? So, ELF, what happened? Well, the stock in the past 3 months, not 3 years, not 30 years, in the past 3 months is up 109%. Listen, the average person who invests in an S&P 500 index fund hopes to make 109% over an 8 to 10 year span. You heard me right. Over an 8 to 10 year span, that's how long people usually expect to make 109% in an index fund. ELF is giving you that return in the last 3 months. If you think there's not going to be a give back period when a stock goes up like that, I have news for you. Yes, there always is a give back period when a stock goes that insane, that quickly. That's ridiculous. Even after this give back, once again, the stock's still up 109% the past 3 months. So what happens essentially after you have just a ridiculous parabolic move like that, and then let's say you go through a period with the stock where there's no new news, it has a give back period. I've never seen it where a stock doesn't have that give back period when a stock goes that ridiculous. It's over where the stock over doubled in 3 months. Come on, man. Like, of course it's going to have some give back, right? Unless it's a freak stock where it's just like the news cycle keeps going, and it's like it just keeps having hype in it. But every stock has a give back period. Nvidia, you look at Nvidia's historic run in the past, 3 years. Nvidia has had countless give backs over the past 3 years. And by the way, I showed you this 3-month chart here to illustrate, like, even against AMD, which has been one of the hottest stocks in the stock market the last 3 months, it's blowing away AMD. It's smashing Nvidia. It's like basically it's over double the performance of Nvidia the last 3 months. Nvidia, that's insane. The S&P 500, ELF's 5x'd the S&P 500 over the last 3 months. That's ridiculous, like insane, right? But, you look at even a stock like Nvidia over this past, 3 years or so, right? And what we will find when we look at a stock like Nvidia is Nvidia has had plenty of give backs on this historic run. Right here, big give back there. That was in early 2023. Big give back for Nvidia right there, right? Then it goes on another historic run, major give back right there. Goes on another epic run, big give back. Goes on another run, big give back. Goes on a big, huge run, massive give back right here. This was like a 40 to 50% drop give back right there, okay? And now it's gone on another huge run. This is what happens in stocks. So, and I understand some people are newer to the market. They're in their first, few months of investing. You buy into a stock like ELF and it's just going up in a straight line and then it gives back some and you're like freaking out and you're like, oh my gosh, what's going on with ELF? I got it. I lost some of my profits. Oh my gosh. Like, this is what happens. At the end of the day, if ELF numbers come in and they're super good, stock's going right back up, and then we'll be talking about ELF 150 again. So, but we got to wait till earnings come out. Earnings for ELF will probably come out in about a month. If they report good numbers, good guidance, we're likely going higher again. And that one will start its next big move. And, you can't ever freak out in the market over short-term stuff that goes on. And you have to just back it up a little bit. And sure, we could look at ELF over the past month, but look at it over the past 3 months. Like, the performance is ridiculous, right? You want to look at ELF over the past 5 years? Also, insane performance, right? And so, and for a lot of you guys that are kind of in that first few months of investing, consider applying to join my private stock group. That'll be a pinned comment down there because a lot of you guys need help. If you're freaking out because ELF went down here, you don't have your mentality right. You don't understand the market very well. Like, that's all that shows me. It shows me like, oh, people don't understand like how the market works. They don't understand the dynamics of the market. They don't understand how to have conviction in your comments. Have I even paid attention to ELF recently? No. Why would I even pay attention to ELF? It's irrelevant. Whatever's happened to a stock in the short term is completely irrelevant. Why would it be relevant to me? There's no news coming out in regards to ELF. There's nothing that can help me justify or not justify the long-term prospects of ELF. So have I even looked at ELF stock? Like, it's irrelevant. It's completely irrelevant. All that matters is where ELF stock is 3 years and from now, 5 years from now, right? And, let me show you something. You want me to show you something? I'll show you something. Look at how much I'm up on ELF stock. I'm up 1,421%. It was an investment I made back in that one was back in 2019. ELF at that time was $7.28. Do you know how many crashes ELF has gone through since 2019? Do you know how many pullbacks, corrections ELF stock has gone through since 2019? It's a long list. Some of the crashes were huge, 50% plus down from the recent highs. Some were more minor, like 20% pull downs. Some were just little pullbacks, like 5-10%. Oh my gosh. But at the end of the day, what did it all add up to? Let's see, $7,200 invested, and that position's worth $110,000 today, right? And we even pull up the Patreon portfolio. This is a Patreon portfolio here. By the way, if you ever want to join the Patreon, see the stocks I'm buying and selling each week, that's always linked in the description area down there, okay? But look at my Patreon portfolio for ELF. I'm already up 88% on the stock, but I was buying it rapidly back in the spring. When all the drama was going on, tariff, blah, blah, blah. I was buying that stock rapidly because you got to understand, when you get a moment like that, you better freaking take advantage. You don't have all the time in the world. People think I got all the time in the world. No, you don't. You got to move. When you get an opportunity like that in ELF, $50-something a share, you take advantage.
How would you like access to all my best course curriculums? My Becoming Master of the Stock Market course, my Stock Market Investing Mastery course, my Stock Options Mastery course, my Millionaire Playbook. How would you like access to all my best courses, as well as the ability to have access to my 6 and 7 figure plus Discord community, where we're constantly keeping in touch with each other, talking about what's going on in the market? How would you like exclusive weekly videos from me? How would you like the ability to see what stocks I'm buying and selling in my $2 million plus Fidelity account? If that all sounds pretty interesting to you, apply to join my private group. That is going to be linked in the description area down there. You can click on that, fill out an application, and go ahead, hop on a call with Andre. Andre will walk you through the whole process. He'll walk you through the whole group, and you can go ahead and join us in there. Once again, the link for that is in the description area.
Okay, next one up here, SoFi CEO on investing and the business and all those sorts of
Joining
things.
us here today in Sun Valley, your stock has been absolutely on a tear and got a pop from the news that...
Yeah. You want to talk about stock on a tear. Oh my gosh. SoFi is just ridiculous. I mean, absolutely ridiculous over the past year. Let's pull up a 1 year here. SoFi up a whopping 213%. Look at Nvidia up 29%, SP 500 up 12%. SoFi is just out of control. Let's pull it up a 3 month here. Oh my gosh. SoFi on a 3 month is up 109%. That's the same ELF is up. 109% on a 3 month basis. Ridiculous. No one better ever complain about ELF stock or SoFi stock. Those are the last two stocks you could ever complain about. That's just ridiculous, man. Legendary type stuff. Oh my gosh, I'm very thankful to have both those stocks in my portfolio.
You're expanding to private markets investing. Stock was up 7% on this. How big of an opportunity is this for SoFi?
We think it's a large opportunity. It's part of our overall strategy to be a one-stop shop for all your financial services needs. Investing is one of those areas, and we're giving access to Main Street investors to products they would not otherwise get in prior history. So we started with single stocks, launched fractional shares, added ETFs, robo accounts. We then started doing IPOs. We're the exclusive retail provider of the Rivian IPO, as an example. And then about a year ago, we launched alternative assets, including private equity, private credit, private real estate, and then even an opportunity to invest in some private companies, specifically through SPVs like Anthropic as well as SpaceX. And this is an evolution of now being able to invest in private companies through funds. And you can invest with as little as $10. The minimums are all different, but on one of them it's $10, one is about $500, and one is about $2,500.
But what's seen as another potential tailwind for SoFi is the idea that the new Trump bill could cap federal borrowing for college and grad school, which could drive more business to SoFi. What are you expecting in terms of growth because of that?
There will be a large opportunity for us to continue to leverage student loans, and the new bill will provide a bigger opportunity for us. But it's a much smaller piece of our business now. More than 50% of our business is from non-lending revenue streams. We've really kind of de-risked the balance sheet and tried to become more capital light. We've had 13 consecutive quarters of greater than the rule of 40, which is your revenue growth plus your EBITDA margin. And someone pointed that out to me. And our guidance for the second quarter will actually be the 14th consecutive quarter if we achieve it. And we have great momentum in the business. So while we're excited about the student loan opportunity, it's small relative to everything else that we're doing. That's driving the growth of our business and the rule of 40 success.
You do have a lot of customers, though, in this younger demographic, and this younger demographic is being impacted by a couple of factors. We've seen unemployment for recent.
So the very great news, if you're a SoFi shareholder out there, or you think of somebody that is considering SoFi stock, the great news is SoFi is very committed to innovation, right? They're very committed to coming out with new products and services all the dang time. They never just are okay with like where they're at, and they're like, we're just what we got for our offerings, and like we're good with that. No, it's next thing. The only thing I worry about with SoFi is like they don't focus enough on certain things when it comes to their marketing spend and ad dollars and things like that, right? And let's say some products aren't as good as they could be because they're focused on too many things. So that's maybe a little bit of a risk factor in there. But the moral of the story is here in regards to SoFi is this company is an innovation king in the banking space. Like you compare them versus other financials, it's like night and day difference.
College grads higher than the overall unemployment rate. And we're also seeing a lot of concern about AI taking jobs, not just now, but increasingly in the future. How are you seeing this demographic react to those issues, and how is it impacting your business?
We do go after a younger demographic. We're going after people that have been successful. They're overachievers, but they're not well served by the financial markets. And we want to be there for every one of their major decisions in their financial life, like paying for college or buying a home and all the days in between. And our business is very strong. We came into the year with great momentum. In Q1, we had over 30% revenue growth. It was an acceleration. We've been able to maintain more than 30% member and product growth, and we don't see that slowing down. So we're seeing real strength across the consumer and spending, improving credit, and the desire to do more with us.
When you look at the evolution of this younger consumer, the new CNBC Generation Lab poll shows that young people are so worried about AI taking their jobs. How do you expect that consumer to change in terms of the services that they get from SoFi?
What I'd say is every innovation drives more opportunities. Yes, some of the opportunities close, but it'll create new opportunities. And I believe our country, with the strongest economy, the strongest level of innovation, the strongest military, the strongest currency, will continue to drive opportunities for American people. And the innovation will just cause those opportunities to change. You can't really predict what they will become, but without a doubt, if you look at every cycle in history, when you've had these big super cycles from technology, it's created more opportunities, not less. And I think that will be the case here.
And you're really deploying AI across your suite of products.
We're using it in every area. So customer service, automating dispute resolutions, filing suspicious activity reports, but also personalization. We're testing a product right now called Cash App, or Cash Coach, which allows you to look at your cash across all your...
I was like, Cash App? What are we talking about here? This is actually kind of interesting. What is up here?
A product right now called Cash App, or Cash Coach, which allows you to look at your cash across all your different partners, and we can help you optimize what to do with that cash. First of all, we'll show you how much cash you actually have and how little you're earning on it and ways to actually optimize it, drive a better return. Our goal is to help you spend less than you make and invest the rest. And that's what you need to reach your American dream.
So that's brilliant there. I really like that. I really like that idea. And here's why. It's very common for people to run into one of two scenarios. And it seems like almost everybody's in one of these two scenarios. They either don't have enough cash and their bank account says like nothing in it, or they got way too much cash than what they actually need. And usually people fit into one of those two buckets. Say probably everybody watching this video fits into one of those two buckets. And probably a lot of you guys have too much cash, right? It's very, very common. And people will carry way more cash than they should be carrying, and they're not like earning any interest on that. They're not earning like any rate of return on that. It's just sitting there. Even myself, I carry too much money in terms of that are in accounts that aren't earning me any significant interest. So even I do it. I think almost everybody does it. So the fact that you could bring attention to that and be like, you know, if you put money over here, you do this, you can actually earn yield on it, blah, blah, blah. I think that's big. I like that a lot, right? And I wouldn't be surprised if that's an innovation that every single major bank ends up adopting over the next, let's say, 5 years, where it says like, you know, Mr. Johnson, you have $20,000 in your checking account, earning, you know, only this much yield, which only equates to this much over the next year. If you move your money into this high yield CD account, if you move $10,000 of the $20,000 into this high yield savings account, it'll earn you this much over the next 12 months, over the next 3 months, 6 months, whatever it is, right? You know, if you put it over here in this fund has generated a return of blah, blah, blah over the last few years. We can't guarantee this return in the future, but that's what it's earned, you know, and you can put, like, I think that's the future, right? And so like I said, everybody's pretty much in one and two camps. They either don't have enough cash or they got too much dang cash.